Здравствуйте, товарищи, and welcome to our Let's Play of Attila, Total War. And honestly, I wasn't expecting to do this Let's Play tonight. I was looking at the, you know how Steam has like a countdown before games are available on their store page? I was looking at the countdown to see when Attila would be available, and it said 22 hours from now, and that was about, 4 hours ago. And I was like, okay, it's okay to go to bed, and we'll do the Let's Play tomorrow. And then just before I'm about to go to bed, it starts unlocking on my Steam account. So here we are, not wasting any moments here, jumping right into Attila Total War. And this game has honestly put me at quite a crossroads, because it is making me choose between two different kind of civilizations that I am completely enamored with, and those are Roman civilizations and sort of steppe barbarian nomadic tribesmen civilizations. And it's going to be tough to choose which one I'm going to be. But let's look at this, the factions that Attila does give you at the start. So there's plenty of factions here. We've got a choice between some barbarian kingdoms, which are the Franks and the Saxons. Franks being obviously the new Franks, and Saxons, I believe, took over England, and then that's kind of why it's called. They were called the Anglo-Saxons anyway. That's my assessment. In any case, we've also got lots of horde troops. We've got the Ostrogoths, the Alans, Vandals, and the Visigoths. Nomadic tribes, of course, we have the glorious Huns themselves. And Roman empires, we've got the East and West. Eastern, we've got the mighty Sassanid empires. And lastly, the Norsemen, which are a bonus for pre-ordering the game, I believe. You've got the Jutes, Danes, and Gits. I think that's how you pronounce them. I might be wrong. So what's also interesting is it gives you a couple bullet points about who they are. So their cultural trait is new kingdoms. They are building conversion rate 20% less. And they are ferocious warriors. These are the Franks. And they also tell you what they believe in. Germanic paganism. The Ostrogoths are Arian Christians. All except the Visigoths are all Arian Christians. Nomadic tribes are Tengri. That's their religion. Their cultural trait is Scourge of God. Wow. Negative 10% when fighting Christian factions. Morale, that is. And faction trait Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So they're pretty terrifying. These Huns are. Originally, I thought the Huns weren't a playable faction. I remember when they first announced Attila, they said that they weren't going to be a playable faction. However, having them in here is pretty cool. We have the Roman empires, Greek Christian and Latin Christian. We have the Sassanid, of course, Zoroastrianism, which I am a firm proponent of that religion. Definitely a Zoroastrian myself. Actually, I'm not. I just like saying Zoroastrian. And like when you have people come and ask you what you believe in, what your religion is, I just love telling them that I'm Zoroastrian, because you get some great looks. Anyway. And then we have, of course, our Norsemen, which are all Germanic pagans. However, after much deliberation, I have decided that I'm going to take on the momentous task. And I may or may not fail, but I'm going to try my damnedest not to fail as the Western Roman Empire. So, I hope you guys will join me as we launch right into our Western Roman Empire campaign. I'm excited to see the new differences they've added to Attila. But what I'm really more excited for is if they've updated the AI and optimize it a little bit better. And if that has happened, then, Attila might just be the game we've all been waiting for. But then again, we've been saying that for a long time now, so it's hard not to be a little bit pessimistic. I'm naturally kind of an optimist, and I've been optimistic about Rome since it came out, and since all the expansions came out. And as it stands now, I think it's still, it's a great game. It's an awesome game, but it's just not to where you want or expect a successor to the original Rome Total War to be. That's the way I'll put it. Got the cats here. Cats are here. Very excited about this Let's Play as well. They are currently licking each other, which is great. In fact, one is licking the other's bum, so that's a little bit weird. So I don't know what's going on here, but I'm having some weird issues with recording the cutscenes before and after.
The air was filled with smoke and blood.
But, so yeah, we're getting some weird, like, jittery going at 1 frame per second frame rates. So, unfortunately, until I find a way to record this, we are going to have to just skip right through it.
Rome be divided, and this has left you in a precarious situation. Overstretched and desperately trying to protect the Western Empire from barbarian threat, the burden of military and civil maintenance has left your economy in tatters. Public order is waning, so it may be wise to consolidate your forces closer to the capital, ceding frontier territories as a buffer if necessary. Once your infrastructure has been strengthened and the immediate threats dealt with, you will be ready to strike forth, conquer your enemies, and if possible, regain dominion over the Eastern Roman Empire. Build a Roman Empire worthy of Augustus himself.
No, that's the plan, as I am an Augustus superfan, as many of you know. Okay, mission issued. They made ready for war. Survive until spring. Sounds like a plan. So let's look over. Let's take stock. If you're any kind of, manager or CEO or something, taking over a new company, first thing you always want to do is take stock of what you already have. So let's start in the home province of Italia. See what we got. Of course, we've got
as the main administrative center in a region, the settlement contains both trade and military buildings. Settlements are the main consumer of food supplies in a province, so it is vitally important to keep food production buildings upgraded to avoid shortages.
That's great. So let's look at first the main province, of course, Italy. See what we have. So we definitely have a nice new building screen right in front of us. That I like. So you can definitely really see very quickly what everything is and where to go from there. And it also is presented pretty cool. So we've got amphitheater. Are you not entertained? Is the quote beneath it. Scholar food consumption -50. Maintenance cost. Public order. That's the church and a statue. Gotta love that statue. And a lot of these are still underdeveloped. Fishing wharfs, salt deposit, huh? And here
factions have the option to abandon their settlements, desolating the surrounding region as they go. If the enemy is getting too close and it looks like you will lose a region, it is now possible to abandon its settlement, enacting a scorched earth policy to deny the invaders their prize. When you leave, a small amount will be added to your treasury. Any faction that resettles or colonizes will find a ruined settlement in a region with reduced fertility, a situation which only recovers over time.
interesting.
A province consists of 3 regions, each one containing a settlement, the hub of activity within it. One of these is always the provincial capital, a major walled settlement, whilst the remainder are minor settlements without defensive walls until fully upgraded.
Learning so much. Anyway, so unfortunately,
The greater the squalor within a settlement, the more likely it is that a disease epidemic will take hold. Disease causes attrition and lowers public order, and can be spread to other regions via trade routes and the movement of agents or forces. Counteract squalor by constructing sanitation buildings, or by demolishing those that increase it.
great. So unfortunately, we are losing public order, and so our southern Italian settlements. Northern Italian settlements are gaining. Aquileo. So here's the new capital. It is no longer Rome at this point in time. They had, I believe this is the new capital. Yes. So by this point in Roman history, they had decided to move the capital basically for strategic purposes. That, I mean, even though Rome kind of looks like it's the center of the empire, by this point in time, Rome was in such dire straits that they needed a city that they could that was more easily fortifiable than Rome, and also more central to where they needed to deliver soldiers, goods, and other supplies. So they moved it. There you go.
Troops can be stationed inside a settlement to defend it in the event of attack. Whilst there, they will also act as a deterrent to any rebellious tendencies amongst the population. Farms, markets, and ports supply food, and settlements and certain buildings within them consume it. Although food is automatically distributed across your territory, if total consumption is not matched by production, in order to move the entire force, make sure a general is present. Select the settlement or the general.
Yeah. African territories are in a bad way. This is Numidia, I'm assuming. Not all of Africa. I feel like they've reduced the amount of settlements, it looks like.
When unhappiness becomes too great, the people will riot, slaves will revolt, or a full-blown rebellion will occur. Factors which may cause this are food shortages, taxation, the presence of rampaging enemy armies in a province, and cultural unrest.
It looks like pretty much all of our outlying settlements are diminishing in terms of public order. Let's see how things are in Britain. Once again, diminishing. What are our main troops? Whoa, that was weird. Oh my god, look at how fancy their encyclopedia is now. Lumitani bodyguards. We got cohors. Scout equites. Up here, what are these guys? The picks, of course, the picks. Well, good luck getting over Hadrian's Wall, you bastards. So unfortunately, it looks like most of our armies are depleted as well.
Ready for battle. Commander, we cannot do that.
Looks like these guys have to take the river to get across. So don't necessarily need to defend that point. So I'm just trying to decide what my strategy is going to have to end up being. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to look at a inside-out approach, or do I want to look at a defend the frontiers approach and not give away any territory. What I mean by that is focus on my economic provinces, areas like Spain, Africa, Italy that aren't necessarily in a lot of danger at this point, and try and shore them up. Make sure they're producing as much as possible. Make sure they're not thinking about rebelling against me and leaving the empire anytime soon. And then if we lose territory to the barbarians later down the line, hopefully, if I shore up these internal provinces, I'll have enough resources to build an army and fight back. Alternatively, again, it's hold the line as much as possible. Don't give up any territory at all, not one step backwards, and hope that by keeping the unification of the empire, I don't end up in a situation where, once I let them through, those goddamn barbarians, then floodgates are open and everything kind of falls apart.
You have selected a character belonging to another faction that you cannot control.
Oh,
Please
well, you
select one
can
of your own.
go to hell. General Clovis. Is he a Frank? I think he's a Frank. Nope, Swabian. Never mind. I just remember there was a great Frank King named Clovis.
To research the technology that will give you an advantage over your rivals. To begin, simply select the item you wish to research. There are no buildings required in order to do this, although there are some buildings that require certain technologies before they can be constructed. Mouse over a technology for a short description, details of effect.
That sounds great. So let's now, before we decide what we're going to do, let's take a quick second. Let's look at all the different factions here.
The faction summary tab,
or faction screens, I mean.
together essential statistics and information, enabling you to check the status of your campaign at a glance.
So, who is the emperor? Well, Theodosius was the emperor, the guy who split the empire. Honorius, not exactly the most well-liked emperor of all time. I believe he was appointed when he was younger than this. I think he was 14, so I think he's 16 now. And he's got a brother, Stilcho, who, if I'm not mistaken, ends up kind of becoming like a generalissimo in the Roman Empire. Unfortunately, my later Roman history is not as strong as my early Roman history. So I guess this is the Roman family tree. This is our dynasty, and then of course we have a shit ton of other patricians. So we'll see how this ends up working out. Military allies. I'm at war with a lot of people. Oh, I can convert. Huh, interesting. So, obviously, our empire is divided in terms of its religion. Our main religion is Latin Christianity, and it is only beating out the other form of Christianity, Arian Christianity, by 2 points. And even before that, below that is the Greco-Roman paganism. which wasn't the dominant force by this time, but it was still there. It was still very influential. And among the other types of religions, we have Celtic paganism. Jesus, we have what minor religions? Couldn't even give them a name. Germanic paganism, Zoroastrianism, Greek Christianity, and all these other ones combined make up 30%.
The records tab is...
Yes, it shows me how... Yeah, I know.
When you selected a faction, you also chose a family or party to represent within its political system. Your faction leader is the head of the party you chose. The influence of each party member affects its overall power. Winning battles as a general and completing construction projects as a governor may increase influence. The popularity of your party is the sum total of its members' influence versus that of the opposing party.
Okay, that makes a little bit of sense. Just who exactly is the opposing party? Honorius Augustus. You don't deserve the title Augustus. Anyway, so our objective, what's our victory, overall victory? Survive until the following. That sounds pretty good. Control 80 settlements. Maintain control of the following 3 provinces. Research 10 technologies. Produce a lot of wealth. And maintain about 70 units in total. Military victory. That's a minor victory. Okay, I see. And then through military victory, we have to take a couple more settlements. Defeat 20 different factions by Wow, that's a lot of factions. Control 7 different provinces that we have. Control more units. Construct the various buildings. Research military technology. And if we do both of these, we can get a divine victory or divine triumph. So we're making $618. Yeehaw. Oh, I like that it shows you what your lowest public order is. That's our last link, diplomacy.
In order to construct a proposal, double-click on a faction from the list, and then add diplomat.
Yeah. So who likes this? These guys in the middle of nowhere. Great allies to have. Really, it'll turn the tide. Okay, good to know. So, sway by our horde. I'm hoping that I'm not at war with them. Good, we are not at war with them. Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered all the basics. I wish it was, okay. But we are okay. That's our total. Oh, that's okay. So I think I'm gonna try and go for the shore up the provinces routine. But the big question with that, I think, is going to have to be England or Britain. So the question is, do I follow the historical route and abandon Britain to its fate? Take my troops back, pull them out, say, see you later, nice knowing ya, or do I try and hold on to it? Let's see if I can shore up some public support in Londonum without spending a lot of money. I think it might be good to hold on to the province. much money we'll take.
Represented by the ruined building icons on the campaign map, deserted regions contain the ruins of settlements that have been abandoned. You may encounter reduced fertility around recently desolated settlements, but also resource-rich areas around those areas reclaimed by nature over time.
Alright, well. Let's look at shoring up Spain now. Iron smelter. You're gonna need some sort of form here. Man, these things are expensive.